AMovieGuy.com here with director of Quantum Cowboys, Geoff Marslett. Geoff, thanks for being with me here today.
Thank you for having me. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, congrats, man. So everybody's talked about it a lot. 12 different animation styles. That's quite a lot. But it's not your first time doing animation. No. So what continues to draw you to doing sort of specifically whether it's rotoscope or whatever styles of animation that you're using specifically in Quantum Cowboys?
Yeah, you know, I think it's a combination of things where I do this and then I forget how hard this is, and then I make, you know, the poor decision-making skills of coming back and trying to do it again, because it is really difficult. And then people look at it and they're like, I don't know what, you know, couldn't you just shot this with actors and all? But truth be told, I love big Hollywood polished movies. But what really inspires me to make things has always been indie films that have their bumps and bruises, to watch people reach outside of their comfort zone and try to make something I've never seen before. That's what I like to go see. So when I envisioned making someone go on a journey with me where I'm going to try to strip away the meaning of time, where I'm going to try to make you feel like you're in multiple universes, in my head that had to look different, that had to feel different, it had to qualitatively be different universes on the screen.
Yeah.
So I kind of threw away how you're supposed to make a movie and just said, how can I get what's in my head closest to the screen? And whether people like this film or not, I think I did a good job of actually getting what I wanted in my head out there, that is what I've created. And I couldn't have done that without using all these different animation types. Yeah. And even not all these different artists. You know, a lot of animation, a key artist draws something and everyone tries to make it look the same, tries to look homogenous. I wanted the exact opposite. Like, I didn't want the different I wanted them to look different. So I specifically cast animators the same way you would cast an actor for their styles to do these different things.
Yeah, interesting. Well, and it's like if you were trying to like pitch this to somebody, you'd have to say it's a time travel Western in rotoscope. Typically, none of those things go together, specifically in terms, and you talked about it a lot with Westerns.
Yeah.
How important is it, honestly, to continue to change sort of the genre of the Western? I feel like it's this thing that has been set in stone for a long time. But we've seen a lot of different shifts on making Westerns in different images, and I think this is has to be one of the most unique ones that we've seen in a long time.
I hope so, and that's what I want people to do. You know, I really do sort of live by this and mean it, that, you know, I had a background in science, but I think a real background in science is realizing you really don't quite know anything, really, but you definitely don't know everything about something. We're never 100% right. Knowledge is a fluid thing, and as hard as it is to wrap your brain around it, two contradictory ideas can both be true at the same time. That's a real thing.
Yeah.
And I wanted to put that on the screen. And part of that is also saying that there are so many different views of what a Western is, what being in the West was. And those views come from different people who have different experiences, and they can both be right.
Yeah.
The version of Westerns we've gotten in the past never says that. It is usually like a stoic white guy that squints a lot and shoots people, and like his version of the West is like the West and tames this, and the other is bad, and they're fine. They're actually pieces of art, and I enjoy them. I love, you know, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is one of my favorite films to watch.
Yeah.
I'm less fond of John Wayne films, to be honestly, but I didn't want that Western. And Westerns are so iconic that I think it's one of those cases where art has replaced reality for many people. That if I go to Europe and I say I'm from Texas, they see saguaros in the Arizona desert, you know, hear the word Texas, you know, see, you know, John Wayne, and they don't. And that's really what they believe the West was, and it's totally not. You know, I'm like 7th generation Texan. That's not who I came from. I came from bumbling people more like these.
Right.
I wanted people to know that we can replace the memories that have become communal with actual other ones from other people, and that was the hope. And you know, like I said, it's maybe not subverting the Western, but it's breaking the idea of the Western up and rethinking it entirely.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and I think you 100% achieved that, and I'm sure you were going for it in a little bit of ways, but the two movies, or at least the two directors that came to mind, obviously for me, were here in Austin, Texas, is Richard Linklater and Jim Jarmusch.
Yeah. I mean, I love them both.
Yeah, so it's like, I mean, how much has their use of like making movies of that style helped you, honestly? Does it sort of like relieve yourself a little bit and say like, hey, it's been done before, I can do this,
Yeah.
you know, and create like a great hangout movie?
When I was like 17 years old or something, you know, I went to the Inwood Theater in Dallas and watched Slacker, and it was like, a movie could be this?
Yeah.
And, you know, so it's no accident. You know, I ended up moving eventually to Austin and spending 20 years here making films. You know, he paved the way for doing things in this whole different way here, you know, and then, you know, not too long after him, you know, Robert Rodriguez, Mike Judge, you know, people were also adding to that pavement and making this really cool world where we made films. You know, I was lucky enough back in 2011, which is now over 10 years ago, we made a remake to raise money for the Austin Film Society of Slacker, and I was able to do one of the scenes, and it was really amazing for me.
Yeah.
Ironically, that was my first film that Alex Cox ever saw, and he loved my segment of Slacker, you know, 2011, and then Alex Cox later cast me in one of his films, and then I got to cast him in here because he also made those kind of films that broke the mold and did something differently. So absolutely, seeing them do it. I mean, I hope someone watches my movie and says you can make a movie any way you want. There is no right way. Like the right way is the miracle that actually gets through the film.
Yeah, I mean, well, and obviously, you know, we could talk about the whole cast. I specifically want to talk about Lily Gladstone. I
Absolutely.
mean, like, how do you stop her from being the coolest cowboy on set? Because that's like what I instantly picked up in every scene.
I mean, I think I didn't stop her, did I? I mean, I hope you did pick it up. I mean, we laugh, but I mean, I wrote it for Lily.
Yeah.
I first saw Lily in a friend's film, twin brothers, Alex and Andrew Smith.
Yeah.
They made a film, and I saw her in it. Was blown away by her performance. Was at Sundance through a mutual friend, Anish Sajani. Met her, but without her name being said. I just met this person who was really cool to talk to, and I talked to her for like 30 minutes, and then realized it was Lily Gladstone, and then realized she was this person I'd really enjoyed in this film, which is crazy because she's so different in person than the character she played in that. I didn't even realize it was her, and I was like, oh my God, I saw you, you're like one of the best performances I saw all year.
Yeah.
And it just says a lot about Lily's ability to perform, that she becomes those characters so well that I'm talking to her and I'm enjoying her as a human being, and I don't even realize she's this amazing actor, and then we stayed friends, and so I wrote this character, you know, this is some kind of combination of like Han Solo and Obi-Wan Kenobi. You know, she's this cool, wizened character, but I also let her run with it and create her own character. But, you know, we would laugh that, like, that's not usually, I mean, just frankly, in a power dynamic of two men and a woman and your three leads, usually the woman doesn't get to be that cooler cowboy. And I definitely wanted that. And I knew she could do that because I mean, I'd say she's one of the best actors of her generation, but I could just take her generation off that. She's an amazing actor, and it shows in this film. It's going to show in the Scorsese film. Yeah. It just shows in every film she does.
Yeah.
So
that made it easy on you for sure.
Absolutely.
Talk about the music. I mean, I know it's important. What I loved is that it keeps going. Yeah. There's no moment where it's going to be absent of music, absent of like sound of what's going on. And you have musicians acting in your movie too. Talk about making that a part of your films, and how, more specifically for this film, why it was important.
I mean, it had to be. The two were always intertwined in this existence of this film. This film could not have the music. You know, Hal Gelb, who co-wrote the whole story with me before I made it into something almost filmable. You know, that was a lot of what we talked about. We really wanted it to be in there because the movie is about how each individual has their own experience no one else can experience, and we try to share that experience with other human beings through art, whether it's the art of conversation, the art of photography, the art of storytelling, or the art of making music. That's how we communicate our inner experience. And musicians do, this is the actual word I want to use, they do that magic. You know, they are wizards. Musicians make these things that play on our emotions and tell stories and tie into nostalgia and ideas. And those can be so indelible, they change the way we remember events. They become how we remember events. So music was so important. So having Niko Case, having Hal Gelb, having Zixa, having John Doe, you know, they were so important to making people feel this world. And, you know, all those original songs that are written for this film were important. You know, the lyrics, in France, we had it subtitled when we played at Annecy, and in Paris, we had subtitled in French, and I actually realized there was a real benefit to activating people's brains at one more level with subtitles, because then they realized even the lyrics of those songs matter. I think on a first viewing, you're just like, there's a song, but you know, the music was so important down to the words they actually sang.
Yeah.
So.
Well, congratulations. Love this film. And
Thank you.
Honestly, it's so cool. I was just like enjoying hanging with it, and I hope so many people get to see it.
I do too. That's our real goal. This is a truly indie film. We're walking into the screening without distribution. We're actively trying, and I hope everyone who sees it, there's good word of mouth. People write things about it. They go on whatever Letterboxd and say they liked it. If you don't like it, don't go on Letterboxd. It's fine. I can do that. But we're hoping that as a movie, it will find its audience, and I am optimistic that will occur.
Yeah.
So.
All right, Geoff Marslett, congratulations. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thanks.